I'm Karla Carballar. I am based in New York City and I went to Quebec City. I would describe it as a very varied. It was, yeah, I think it was very, yeah, very varied in different aspects. Like, for example, how I experience time, um, the things that I had to do, the emotions that I went through. So everything was, it wasn't like just one thing or one color or one layer. It had like multiple layers, and I would go like from one place to the other. And so I think it was enriching. Um, and and it's funny because since I just came back basically uh, 2 days ago, but actually I came back late on Thursday, so I've had like one day, to and I already see it differently because once, like when you're there, it's like when you're swimming in the, you're in the water, and as soon as you get out of the pool, you're not in the water anymore. So your experience of the water is different. So I think, like, I see how it was very enriching in a way that I probably didn't notice right there. I mean, I was noticing already, but yeah. For one, I think having the opportunity to experience a place for so long and in different way than only as a tourist is already very enriching. So Quebec City is a small city, and it's very cute. uh, but obviously it has different parts, and so not everything is cute. No, just like the old city and a lot of the neighborhoods of the what they call the center. Um, but when you go a little bit farther, it's just like, start seeing like, when like you go to New Jersey and you have these big stores, or you know these really wide streets with all these like more like a space or things like that. So um, as a tourist, obviously there's a point there you go always to like the highlights, right? The cutest place, the where the historic places. But when you have the opportunity to be there longer and also doing all these different activities, then you experience more how the rhythm of the of life is, how people are, how the city functions. You start noticing this like quirkiness that you as tourists might see, but you don't have the time really to experience it, because if you see it once, you don't know if that's how it is or just this one time. And also everything is novel, so when everything is novel, is hard to see, to kind of establish yourself and see um, these other things. So I think like um, that time of allowing me to be there and immerse in the culture a little bit more. Obviously, a month is not enough, but is enough time to see more. So I think that was enriching. Also, how the way I was approaching, or the way, yeah, the way I was approaching the fellowship change, um, and also I think that was enriching. Like seeing it now, I feel like in the beginning I had a lot of discomfort, and I was anticipating it, not exactly like that. That's the thing. You can't. I mean, I couldn't. But I've heard. I was warned that it was gonna be, uncomfortable at some points. But there were parts that I was not anticipating, the type of discomfort that it would be, and I think that was not, that was related to how I am. So it doesn't take much for me to feel discomfort. I'm very easily taken out of my comfort zone. So just the fact at the beginning of having to uh, keep all these things in my mind, like the itinerary, even though it's on my phone and it was like super well planned, but I to be looking at it, or just trying to keep the facts and how to get there, and looking at the phone and the map and the bus, and where do I buy a ticket, and where does it stop, and do I make a stop, does it stop, when I'm on the bus, do I press it? I'm just looking at people. Where is the button? How do I know where I'm on my stop? How is it? So it's like all these things all the time, and that I think that I know that I forget things, and that I miss things, and it was just like, I don't want to miss things. I don't want to forget this. I want to. So it's just like really overwhelming. And then little by little, and so I realized that I talked to you too, that it's just like how I was taking things, and know they inherit, the things by themselves, or the program by itself, or the city by itself. It's just like, it was just how I was approaching the situation, and just changing my approach changed the whole experience, and it made it, not stressful. Obviously you have moments of stressful, but very manageable, not overwhelming, um, and in general, yeah, more enjoyable. So it's not like I don't know that in theory, but once you are in the in the thick of things, and you have to remember, okay, I need to calm down, you know nothing is happening, how does it, so it's like, so I was able to do that, a little bit more and more with time, and I think that was already very enriching. Also, once it's like a rubber band or something that you keep expanding, and so then it's not as tight. So I feel like that what's happening. So I feel like coming back, I feel less tight. Like those limits of my discomfort expanded a little. So they're there, but they're a little bit more, they're wider, and there's more flexibility there. And I think I think yeah, you were very clear on on what to expect. I think yeah, what I wasn't expecting was my reaction to things mostly, but yeah, I also because a lot is like you don't know what to expect, so I wasn't expecting something that it didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, I think the going to the activities without I mean, it's probably not. I don't know if it's possible to go without any expectation, but to go with the more openness that you can have. That's, I think, the best thing. But I think, I mean, because um, yeah, there are things that sounded scary, or sounded boring, or sounded something, and then I didn't know, it was or it wasn't, but most of the time it was not as bad as I thought. So, um, but also some things I'll have higher expectation, and it wasn't as interesting as I was thinking. So I mean that happens always, right? But it's like what I was saying before. It's like, is that something that it happens in your normal life? But there, because it's really like an intensive and a period like contained. Um, it's kind of like a laboratory for yourself. So you can try these things, and so yeah, I think going with just an open mind and an open heart to experience whatever is there.